tell me what is typically required when it comes to getting a construction loan. My land picked out, figure out who my contractor is. What else do you need to know from me? Blood sample, DNA, all
yes,
the things.
you're on the right track.
Right? Okay. Kim, we're so excited to have you back. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to talk all about construction loans today.
Wonderful. Love them.
So tell me this about construction loans. The last thing I want to do is get a loan for my land, a loan for my construction materials, and then a mortgage. Can I prevent that? Or is it all like just
You can
what
do it
have
all
to
at
do?
once. Yeah.
You can. Okay, tell me more.
You can go select your land, and you can select your land with the help of a builder or a realtor, or
Okay.
you can do it independently. And then if you do select your land separately from your builder, you just work with your builder to say, here's the land I've selected. I would like to close on both of them at the same time. And that's considered a one-time close construction loan.
Oh my goodness. So if I already have my land, let's say I inherited it from grandpa so-and-so, right? I can go and just still do a one-time thing.
Yes, you can. And that would count as your down payment. Your land equity counts
Oh.
towards your down payment.
Okay, so I can use the equity of the land. That's awesome news.
Yes.
Okay, and then tell me more about this too. Do I need to have like a general contractor to build my home? Can I do it myself? What does that look like?
We do allow owner builders.
You do?
So,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And we get many phone calls for that. We do require 10% down for an owner builder.
Okay.
And then we require what's called a contingency. So when you're working with in this case, an owner builder, and you're coming up with the cost, the bids to do each part of the construction, we're going to add on what's called a contingency, which is 15% of the total price. And
Okay.
so that's for cost overruns.
Okay, because how often does that happen?
Often. You may
Yeah.
want to do upgrades along the ways, or something costs more than you anticipate, and you will have that excess funds there for the cost overruns.
Kim, one question for you. As I'm giving you all the things that you require, like my plan, costs, labor costs, building costs, all of those things. Let's say just, because it's true that I know a plumber and they're willing, they're my uncle, they're willing to do it for free. I don't have to include that labor cost, right?
You do have to include that.
Oh, shoot.
Because it's not a guarantee that your uncle would be able to do that. Sounds ideal, but
Yeah.
we have to include labor and materials.
Okay. So just whatever the going rate is for a plumber
Yes.
has to be part of the plan that I submit.
Yes. The example you just gave, it's called sweat equity. And we commonly get questions, do you allow sweat equity? And we do not allow that.
Okay. So not allowing sweat equity, but let's say I still come in under my budget. I'm not sure that happens often with construction, but let's say I did. Can I use those funds for other things like furniture, furnishings, anything like that?
You cannot, because that's
Okay.
not considered part of the value of the home.
Oh, okay.
Right. We were talking
Dang it.
about, the comparables that the appraiser is going to seek out.
Yeah.
Furniture is not included in that.
Dang it. All right. Fine. I will not get that really expensive sofa I wanted then, Kim.
Maybe after.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So tell me this. In the environment we're in, construction loans still very popular, not so much. What are your thoughts?
It has died down a little bit,
Okay.
not drastically, but demand, as it often does in the winter, especially in our more northern states.
Yeah.
So it's still quite popular, shall we say, in Arizona and Nevada.
Sure. Okay. And so construction loans still very much alive and well.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. So tell me what is typically required when it comes to getting a construction loan, aside from the fact that, hey, I've got to have my land picked out, figure out who my contractor is, if it's myself or someone else. What else do you need to know from me? Blood sample, DNA, all
Yes,
the things.
you're on the right track.
Right? Okay.
So you want to work with your builder, or if it's owner builder, you're going to come up with floor plan. So we need a complete floor plan, and then we need a cost breakdown. So the cost breakdown spells out what each line item cost. For example, lumber, materials, and then cost and labor will be broken down.
Okay. So we need those few things broken down. And then I'm assuming you're going to pull my credit. all of those things, right?
Yes. And we require 5% down for a primary residence and a 700 credit score.
And a 700 credit score. Okay, awesome. So in this scenario, you mentioned you've got to look at my house plan, all those things. That's not typical for a mortgage, right?
Right. If you're buying an existing home, you would not provide all of that information.
Okay, so why are construction loans so much more involved?
Because we're starting from the ground, right? We don't have a house constructed, so we need to see a breakdown of your square footage to see what is finished, what is unfinished, and then the appraiser is going to need to compare that home that you're constructing to other homes that have recently sold in the nearby area.
Okay, to get an idea of the value.
Right.
Okay. So tell me this. Once I'm in construction, I obviously want to have just that one-time close, but how does my builder get paid? Because he's going to need money to be able to do the process, right? He or she.
Exactly.
They will need the money. So
we typically pay subs and suppliers directly.
You do? Okay.
Yes. If we've worked with the builder in the past and have a great working relationship, then we can certainly look at doing pay direct with the builders too.
Okay. All right. So you do that. Awesome.
Yes. And they'll submit their request to us. We do a verification that the work is complete, and then we disperse their checks.
Okay. Awesome. So they're paid after the work's done.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So loans are then completed after the build? Before the build? During the build?
Well, it's a one-time close, right?
Yeah.
So they do close up front, and then once the house is completed, we modify that to a permanent loan.
Okay.
So it could be a 12-month construction loan, could be an 18-month construction loan, but they lock in their interest rate up front. And so when the house is done, right, especially in a rising rate environment, they are locked in at what they originally locked in as long as the house is completed on time.
Okay, so as long as the house is completed on time, fingers crossed.
Yes.
But 18 months, 12 to 18 months, that makes sense, right? Hopefully,
Yes.
fingers crossed. So what are the different types of construction loans? We've talked about a one-time close. Are there different things that we can do here?
Yeah, so one-time close, as we mentioned, it could be owner-builder or it could be through a building contractor.
Okay.
The other option is a two-time close construction.
Okay.
And now on a two-time, so there are two closings. So there are two sets of closing costs. So most prefer, if they can, to do a one-time close.
Okay. All right. So you prefer that. But if for some reason, hey, I know that I'm not going to qualify for both homes, then that two-time close is an option. I just have the additional closing costs.
Yes. We also do two-time closes on manufactured homes.
Oh, okay. All right. So what does that look like?
So it's very similar in terms of the information that has to be provided, plans, specifications, the cost breakdown. And then we close up front on the manufactured home construction loan.
Okay.
And then at the end, they come and get a permanent mortgage with us for the permanent side of the loan.
Okay. Awesome. So it seems like a pretty seamless process. Am I crazy in thinking that?
No, you're not.
Okay. All right.
We do lots of construction loans at Mountain America.
You do. Okay. And tell me any general tips for people looking to or thinking about starting to build a home. What should they be doing now?
Speak to a mortgage loan officer immediately.
Okay.
So you learn first that you qualify.
Okay.
Understanding how the lock-in of the mortgage rate works, understanding exactly what we're going to need from your builder, or if it's an owner builder, exactly what we're going to need, because the process can take about 45 days.
Okay. So it's a little bit of a longer process than
Yes.
just a typical, hey, I want to go buy a house tomorrow.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Any other final thoughts that you would share with people looking to start a construction loan?
Just find an expert that can really help you go from A to Z through the process.
Okay. Love it. Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us all the ins and outs on construction loans.
Happy to join. Thank you.
Yes. And good luck to all of you out there wanting to build a home. Hopefully you learned something today, and we will see you on the next episode of Guiding You Forward.